Hello dear students, welcome back. So today we shall start again the chapter My Childhood, and today we shall start from the fourth para. So My Childhood is an extract taken from the autobiography of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who is also known as the Missile Man of India. In the previous chapter we have read the early life, a small portion from his early life, what was his father, how he earned his first wage, and what were the awards that he received. So today we will start from the fourth para. Every child is born with some inherited characteristics into a specific socio-economic and emotional environment. So the writer is telling that every child is born. Every children is born with some inherited characteristics. So dear students, what is inherited characteristics? The characteristics that are inborn characteristics, the biological characteristics that a person receives or achieves from his parents, that is transformed from one generation to the other generation. The characteristics those transforms from one generation to the other generation, these characteristics are called inherited characteristics. So the writer is telling that every child is born with some inherited characteristics into a specific socio-economic and emotional environment. So see what the writer Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam is trying to mean in this line. He is telling that every children is born with some specific characteristics into a socio-economic and emotional environment. He is born in such an environment where there is people living around, where transactions are going on, where people used to buy and sell many things, and where there are emotions. And trained in certain ways by figures of authority. And the person who is born, he is trained by someone who is his authority. That means our parents. Our parents are our authority, and we are guided by our parents from our childhood till the end. Our parents always guides us. Always guide us. So he is telling that I inherited honesty and self-discipline from my father. From my mother, I inherited faith in goodness and deep kindness, and so did my three brothers and sisters. So he is telling that from his father Zainul Abidin, he inherited some characteristics. What are the characteristics? First is honesty, and the other is self-discipline. From his father Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam inherited self-discipline and honesty, and from his mother he inherited faith in goodness and deep kindness. And not only his siblings, his three brothers and a sister, they also inherited the same characteristics from their father and mother. I had three close friends in my childhood. So all of us, we have friends. We have our childhood friends. And Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, he also had his childhood friends. And who are they? First is Ramananda Shastri. So who are his friends? First is Ramananda Shastri. Ramananda Shastri. First. The second person is Aurobindan. And the third is Shiva Prakashan. So these were the three friends of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. And Ramananda Shastri was the son of Pakshi Lakshmana Shastri. So Ramananda Shastri's father was Pakshi Lakshmana Shastri, and he was the high priest of Rameshwaram temple. So high priest, that means he was a great priest, senior most priest of Rameshwaram temple, whose father was the senior most priest, Ramananda Shastri's father. Okay, then after his father, Ramananda Shastri became the priest of Rameshwaram temple. So he is another friend. His name is Aravindan. So what he became, he went into the business of arranging transport for pilgrims. So Aravindan started a business for arranging the transport system of pilgrims. So he was settled. And Shiva Prakashan, he became the catering contractor in Indian Railways. So whenever we used to visit, whenever we used to travel by train, we always have catering service in the trains. So his friend Shiva Prakashan, he became a catering contractor of the Southern Railways. So now the next para. During the annual Sri Sita Rama Kalyanam ceremony, our family used to arrange boats with a special platform of carrying idols of the Lord from the temple to the marriage site. So during the annual Sita Rama Kalyanam ceremony, so what is Sri Sita Rama Kalyanam ceremony? See, here Kalyanam means marriage. Okay, Kalyanam means marriage, and ceremony, you know what is ceremony? And Sita Rama means this ceremony is named after the two gods, the Sita and the Ram. So that means that this is a festival in which people used to marry during this festival. So what were the arrangements in this festival people make, and how the festival is organized? Now we shall read. During the annual Sri Sita Rama Kalyanam ceremony, our family used to arrange boats with a special platform for carrying idols of the Lord from the temple to the marriage site. So now what Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam family, what they used to do during this festival? So they used to contribute in a way by arranging boats to carry the idol of lords from the temple to the marriage site, situated in the middle of the pond called Rama Tirtha, which was near our house. So there was a pond in the middle of the pond. There was a place where they used to organize this festival. And what they used to do? They used to carry the idols from the temple to the marriage site, and they used to arrange boats. Okay. And this marriage site was near their house. So events from the Ramayana and from the life of Prophet were the bedtime stories my mother and grandmother would tell the children in our family. So events from the Ramayana. So see how was Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's family. They were very much secular, and they always respected all the religions. So what is the proof? The proof we can find from the textbook that the stories of the Ramayana were told by a Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's mother and grandmother during bedtime. When APJ Abdul Kalam used to go for sleep, his mother and his grandmother would tell them the stories. So we know what is bedtime stories. When we were small, we used to sleep near our grandmother, near our mother, and then they used to tell us stories so that our sleep could come very fast. And by listening to the stories, we used to sleep. So these are called bedtime stories. So when Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was small, his mother and his grandmother would tell him the stories taken from Ramayana and from the life of Prophet. One day when I was in the 5th standard at the Rameshwaram Elementary School, when Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was studying in the Rameshwaram Elementary School and he was in the 5th standard, a new teacher came to our class. So a new teacher came to their class. I used to wear a cap which marked me as a Muslim. So Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam used to wear a cap, and that indicates that he is a Muslim guy. And I always sat in the front row next to Ramananda Shastri, who wrote the sacred thread. So where he used to sit? Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam used to sit next beside Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam used to sit beside Ramananda Shastri. And Ramananda Shastri, we came to know that Ramananda Shastri's father was the priest of Rameshwaram temple, and Ramananda Shastri used to wear a sacred thread. Sacred thread, that means it is a kind of cloth that people of various religions they used to wear. Okay, so he was wearing a sacred thread, which indicates that he is a Hindu guy, and Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was wearing a cap that indicates that he is a Muslim guy. So the new teacher who came to their class, he could not stomach a Hindu priest's son sitting with a Muslim boy. So he could not tolerate that, and for that reason he asked Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam to stand and sit in the last row. So that was very much depressing moment. So Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was depressed along with Ramananda Shastri. So what happened next? After the school was over, both of them went to their parents and they complained about the incident. And the next day what happened? Ramananda Shastri's father, Lakshmana Shastri, who was the priest of the temple, he called the new teacher, and what happened? See paragraph number 7. He called the new teacher and he asked him not to spread the poison of social inequality and communal intolerance in the minds of innocent children. So we came to know that Ramananda Shastri's father was a very good guy, and one thing I think in a chapter is not given, but let me clear out. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's father and Ramananda Shastri's father, they were very good friends. And what did Ramananda Shastri's father told the teacher? Ramananda Shastri's father told the teacher that please don't spread the poison of communal intolerance. Don't spread communalism. And please don't spread the social inequality. And he also asked the teacher to apologize or quit the school and the island. So he also asked, Ramananda Shastri's father also asked the teacher that you have to apologize, or else you should leave the school, or you must leave Rameshwaram. Not only did the teacher regret his behavior, but the strong sense of conviction Lakshmana Shastri conveyed ultimately reformed this young teacher. So not only the teacher regret his behavior, not only the teacher felt that he was guilty, not only that the teacher realized that what he did was wrong, but the words of Lakshmana Shastri changed the belief or opinion of the teacher, and he became a and slowly he became a good person. So from the next in the next class we shall start from the 8th para. So let me tell you that, let me give you a brief summary of today's class. So what we read today was that Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam is telling that every children is born with some qualities that are inherited from their parents. So what are the qualities that Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam received from his parents? The qualities were, there were two qualities. What are the qualities? First is discipline, self-discipline, and the second is honesty that he received from his father, and from his mother he received that faith in goodness and deep kindness. So not only Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam inherited those qualities, but his brothers and his sister also inherited the same qualities from their parents. So who were the friends of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam? First was Ramananda Shastri, second was Aravindan, and the third person was Shiva Prakashan. So what did they later become? Ramananda Shastri later became the priest of Rameshwaram temple, and Aravindan started the business of arranging transportation for the pilgrims, and Shiva Prakashan became the catering conductor of the Southern Railways. So I think you all are clear what we have discussed in today's discussion. Still, if you have any problem regarding any discussion, you have my number, you call me. If you don't have my number, note it down. So thank you, dear students. In the next class we shall start from the 8th para of the chapter My Childhood. Thank you everyone.